Hello everyone and welcome back to episode 189 of your favourite Formula 1 show. Yes, Jamie and I return, and so does Formula 1. We're back ready for the Dutch Grand Prix this weekend. Jamie, first of all though, how are you doing? How's your summer been? Is it nice to be back at home?
It is. Since last episode, I have been to the south of France and back, a little day trip to
Where
Monaco.
have you actually been? Yeah, I was going to say, there we go.
Yeah. I wasn't staying in Monaco, but we did go for drinks on the casino square, so you know what, can't complain. But I'm back.
Oh man, I'm just trying to I've thought to myself, this is the same guy I knew at 16 years old who still played Minecraft.
At 20 years old, still playing.
No,
at 22 years old.
That's not something you claim. And at 24 still, yeah.
No, I don't play anymore, but I might again in the future. Who knows?
Oh, dear.
But it was good fun. But back, it took me 12 hours to get back from the south of France to Manchester, so that was a bit rough.
Wait,
I might as well have walked.
No, not south of France, I suppose.
No, you couldn't. But yeah, we love EasyJet. I don't. I mean, they're very cheap, but there's a reason. But less about me and let's talk about Formula 1.
Yeah, we've got quite a few bits and pieces to go through. We've kind of said, I think, because we took 1 week off, didn't we? Or one podcast ended up late or something. So kind of they've been all over the place, and the summer break hasn't really felt like a summer break. But I think that's all because we're kind of worried about the next autumn break that we're getting in a few races' time, aren't we? But, I mean, obviously we've got Zandvoort this weekend, and we've got Monza next weekend. Kind of a lot of the talk is more behind the scenes, isn't it? Because September is scheduled to be a busy month. Yeah,
a lot of deadlines and stuff appears to be happening in the next month and a bit or so. Not only with the drivers and the team members, but also like Zandvoort is not looking good for the future either. This could be the last one that's on a permanent every year contract, which I guess we'll find out by the end of the season probably. But it surprises me because it's been an absolute sellout and just a party each year it's been on the calendar. So if it was it surprised me it's monetary, because they could definitely just put the prices up and it would still sell out, to be honest.
But is it that you simply can't put enough people? I mean, I'm trying to have a look at the attendance.
It's a very small venue. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a small venue, like you said. I think they still got 305,000 people through the grandstands last year, which obviously is a lot. I mean, you compare that to what Silverstone, I think, last year got close to 500,000.
Yeah,
I had 510,000 in my head for some reason, but you're probably right. But it's not really as such the issue about that, is it? It's not that Zandvoort, it's probably generating a profit in of itself. It's simply because, obviously, some track in Qatar or Abu Dhabi or somewhere else will pay $30 billion for a 3-year deal and things like
that. Or Chicago.
Or Chicago, apparently.
Yeah, and it is a shame because Liberty Media and the FIA seems to be kind of, back in the day when they came in, it was all like, I want to protect the heritage, keep F1 where it was born, where it belongs in Europe, but while also taking it to the world, which I think, to be fair, they've done an okay job at. I would say only losing Germany is probably the biggest casualty of that.
France as well, I guess. But we kind of always forget about that, don't we? Yeah. France is so bizarre. Like, it should have, a Silverstone of its own. Not actually Silverstone, of course, but, the home of... I mean, it should be Le Mans, really, shouldn't it?
Le Mans or... what's the one near where Gasly was born? I can't... Rouen.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
But, for some reason, it's the birth of Grand Prix racing in Po, but they just haven't bothered ever making a real track. Does that surprise me about the French? Not particularly. But,
Fair enough. I mean, obviously going back to what you were saying though about Liberty Media, obviously, it kind of feels like they've been able to keep that balance so far, just with the tide slowly turning away. But I guess it's the other odd thing as well, because of course, personally, I'm not that worried about Zandvoort potentially not being on the calendar anymore. It's obviously last year's race, yes, was an absolute banger, but that wasn't because of the track. That was just due to the weather. Changeable condition races like that can often create the best races. But, the bigger one for me, and I know we've spoken about this before, is obviously whether we lose Spa or not. Because obviously, yes, I get that Zandvoort has a lot of history. Hasn't hosted anywhere near as many Grand Prix, though, has it?
No, nowhere near. And only obviously came back on the calendar 2021, so it's not been around that long in modern Formula 1, because before that was in the 80s? 90s?
Yeah, last race was 85, Lauda's last ever win.
Oh, yeah. So that's good knowledge from you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so it's obviously not a stalwart of the calendar, but it's like, is this the first domino to fall of a few more?
Well, and I think obviously if they try and wrap it in with Spa as well, you then very quickly run down a slippery slope, don't you? Of obviously, if you're suddenly then having them alternating, you can end up in a situation not that long down the line where, say, Hungary and Austria are then on alternating deals, or Imola and actually, I don't think Imola and Monza. I think you'd just keep Monza, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you
I
would.
think I think Imola's going to be gone pretty soon as well.
Yeah.
So suddenly you've cut out 3 races. Now try and give another one to the US and another 2 in the Middle East somewhere.
But it sounds like Rwanda wants a race.
Rwanda apparently now wants a race as well, which I think, to be fair, is, depending on obviously what the deal actually looks like.
Yeah, it would be quite cool.
I think, that's one that they could actually try and push for quite sensibly. But you just kind of... It's that horrible thing as well, isn't it? There's other tracks that could very easily go. Obviously Barcelona was scrapping anyway. And I kind of worry that once Alonso's gone again, Sainz did pretty well for a couple of years to kind of keep the interest up.
Yeah.
And then obviously, especially with his move, to McLaren and Ferrari and that kind of thing. But you kind of think, if he's going to go to Williams next year and say ends up having to stay there, no other big team kind of wants him for a few years, and Alonso retires, is that interest going to be there anymore?
We'll have to wait and see. I think being in Madrid will probably help, because it's...
But is it a short term? It feels more like a plaster over a...
Papering over a crack.
Wall wound, yeah, exactly, that kind of thing. It's very, very odd.
Yeah, lots going on in Liberty and in the world of Formula 1 management, which I'm glad I'm not a part of, to be honest.
And they're getting sued in the US. Fun fact.
Really?
Or not sued, sorry, investigated, if I'm correct.
Fantastic. Well, good and well for them.
Obviously, you know how Americans love their sport to be competitive and fair, kind of, and obviously raking in as much money as they can. Apparently the anti-competitive commission, or whatever it's called over there, is investigating into why Andretti wasn't allowed in, which is quite interesting. Because of course you kind of forget, because that's not really how European sport works. But of course it's an American company now,
and it's all franchised as well. So in American sports, so yeah, why not? Well, that will lead us on to a nice second point, as maybe Andretti will be allowed in, because there's one team which Bin Sulayem and FIA basically said Andretti should buy a team rather than create their own, and they have the opportunity to do that, because it looks like Alpine are giving up, and it looks like they've been giving up for about 3 years, just slowly.
Well, they look like they've been giving up since they came back, to be honest.
Yeah, it's true. They've been self-destructing ever since 2019, I would say. Yeah, but looks like the factory at Viri is getting scaled down to a point of nothing at one point quite soon, and that's where the engines are made for Renault, and the factory at Enstone is probably going to get sold to a buyer, which could very well be Andretti.
Well, this is the odd thing, isn't it, still? Because obviously they're trying to seek this Mercedes customer deal, which, again, is kind of so odd, isn't it? You kind of think, Red Bull are going the opposite direction. Formula 1 teams are worth so much money right now. It's kind of like you look at the valuations, the way they've gone up. And I mean, obviously, I'm sure they've actually probably dipped since, because I think the last articles that properly came out by the Forbes, I think it was in 2023, the start of 2023. And it was something ridiculous, like the average F1 team's value had gone up by like 380% between 2019 and 2023. It wouldn't surprise me if we've seen, as much as like a 30% slide in that time, back the other way. But, you've got a Formula 1 engine supplier in Alpine or Renault, whatever we're calling them still, that now doesn't want to be. No one else is using their engines anymore because ultimately, I think it's terrible as well because I'm obviously not a fan of them. But I feel there should have been an element of the FIA let them catch up a bit, which is odd to say because they should just be able to do the job. But when you think obviously you had all these engine lobby freezes by Red Bull, suddenly, as once they just got just to the strongest engine on the grid, I would still argue, and then obviously no one else can then catch back up again. And all these freezes till the end of next year, and no one can do anything, apart from reliability, which allows you to make a bit more power and all this, that, and the other. You're kind of there going, if you know you're going to be on the back foot for like 3 years, what is the point? Like, that's never really been what F1's been about.
Yeah, it's been a shame to kind of freeze that development race, but it was in Red Bull's interest and cost cap interest, I'd imagine.
And
as well,
at the time, it seemed wise. Yeah.
Yeah.
But obviously, Formula One has absolutely transformed itself since then.
Yeah. But Alpine are looking for Mercedes engines, which they last used in 2015 when they were Lotus.
Correct. Got a podium. Romain Grosjean, 2015. I was there.
When they boosted the engines because they were having the bailiffs around at their garage because they ran out of money.
They celebrated with the bailiffs that weekend.
Yeah,
Incredible
they got a moral boosting power boost from the FIA that weekend. Otherwise, Hulkenberg would have got a podium.
No, it was from Mercedes.
Oh, it was from Mercedes, wasn't it?
No, Mercedes gave them extra torque settings, and they showed them on the steering wheel how to get more power out of the engine.
Yeah, just because they felt bad for them, basically. But Andretti could well purchase the Enstone team and give it its like 8th new guys in F1 or maybe something like that. They were originally Tyrrell, I want to say.
Oh, I believe so, yeah.
Or Ligier?
Ligier. Would it be
one
Ligier?
of those. I think
no,
Tyrrell
it was Tolman,
Mercedes.
even.
Tolman, yes.
That's the one, yeah.
Because Tyrrell was Mercedes, or that's their route. But yeah, that could be exciting and actually good news for Andretti because I don't think they'll get in with their own team anymore, which is very sad. But they might make the Enstone team more serious, which is good news.
I still wonder whether in an alternate universe, had Andretti been led in, and of course probably would have been using Alpine power units, then how this could completely transform the other way. Because there might then have been a little bit of underhand, let Alpine just do a little bit more with the car, so Andretti can be a bit more competitive. But of course, it's kind of felt that if they had let Andretti in, they would have wanted to see them fail for some reason. It's really odd. It's going to be one of those things that comes out in a few years where like some cloaked masked figure at the back of Liberty Media had like an altercation with Mario Andretti back in 1992 and has hated them all ever since.
Yeah, and now he's got a vendetta
bizarre
against...
like that. Exactly. Yeah. So really odd.
Yes, but, indeed.
Yeah, so peculiar.
And they're still looking for a driver, aren't they, for next year between Do and Odd Joe, which is quite fun because Joe might have a lifeline.
Joe's willing to offer them, I think, $35 million, isn't it?
Great.
Which
take it.
I really like Joe, and I think you know exactly what I'm about to mention. But such a shame reading his comments over the last couple of weeks, isn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah, it does. I see slightly where he's coming from, but I think he's gone about it terribly.
I see the frustration, but I don't think it's justified.
I don't think he's gone about it the right way. No. But
so
I do see what he means. That Ollie, he's basically said when he got his contract in F1 after finishing 3rd in F2, he got absolutely rinsed for everyone for being a pay driver. He's only here because he's Chinese, kind of thing. And then he's basically saying, look, Ollie Behrman, Kimi Anselli are both going to be on the grid next year, probably. And they're currently like 8th and 15th in F2 or something. So where's all the hate for them? It's probably because they're British and Italian. They're not like the F1's against the Asians, basically, is what he's saying. And it just feels a bit distasteful because looking at context, F2 is a joke at the minute. And back in 2021, it was actually slightly serious. And the best drivers did come to the top, which is why Piastri won. I think Schwartzman was second. I can't remember who was second.
No, was it Mick? Mick was already in F1.
No, Mick was already in F1. I think it was Schwartzman.
I think, yeah, in the end, just pipped Joe, didn't
he? Yeah, and Joe was third because F2 was actually fairly serious. But now, like, Paul Aaron is second It's like, what's happened here?
Well, he was winning most of the season.
Yeah.
Well, still, my favourite example is, just for reference, Schwartzman beat Zhou by 9 points in the end. Dak Tickton came 4th ahead of Porsche. I'm trying to remember. Let me have a look quickly.
Who's the lad from your ends? Who won in Monaco?
Zach O'Sullivan.
Yeah, he's like above Behrman by virtue of incredibly lucky feature race victory.
Exactly, the most absolute, and I'm just going to say it, shithousery at Monaco.
But fair play to him.
So here we go. I believe it is Joshua Dirksen, Paraguayan, 19th in the standings so far. He's only a handful of points. To be fair, now Antonelli's kicked off. He's quite a way behind him now. But he outqualified Antonelli in Austria, I believe it was, which is, in Formula 2 especially, is basically just a power circuit, isn't it?
Yeah.
So he competed in Formula 4 last year. Oh, sorry, in one of the Formula... he did, that's right, sorry. He did Formula Regional with Antonelli last year, and he came 19th. Obviously, Antonelli dominated it and won. And then suddenly, this kid's suddenly out-qualifying him around, like, power circuits and things like that in Formula 1. You go, well, it's quite clearly then not fair, is it?
Mechachrome is doing something odd, for sure.
I'm not doing anything right is the problem with Mechachrome. I mean, we've gone down a rabbit hole again.
We have. Taylor Barnard finished 22nd in Formula E last year.
Wowee. He didn't do many races, though, did he? Am I right in saying? Or he was on a terrible team?
He did 3 races, 5 points.
Yeah, I was going to say.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, but you're kind of there, like, with Show. I'm there, like, but the thing is, like, with the pay drivers, obviously they are a part and parcel of Formula 1. It's just what happens. But at least with, like, a Latifi and stuff, he didn't kind of, like, just outright try and, he wasn't there going, oh, it's racist against the Canadians or anything like that. You kind of appreciate the position you're in. And I'm sure, obviously, yes, Zhou will have had to deal with a lot coming through the ranks. And I'm sure, some of it will have been racist. Because, unfortunately, that's the world we live in.
And he grew up in South Yorkshire.
He did grow up in South Yorkshire, and that's just horrible for anyone to have to deal with. But... And, I'm not trying to say that, it's okay because he's had to deal with it or anything like that. But then just trying to claim out that, when you've got two talents that are probably the most hyped coming through since probably Lando, Albon, and, Charles and George, you kind of got to think, these two are touted by everybody to be, future world champions battling for world titles against each other in years to come.
And
I love
you. Younger than you.
Yeah, exactly. No one's been... And yeah, that's the other thing as well. Obviously, Behrman's what? 19? Antonelli's 17. So. Zhou was 23, 22 when he got into Formula 1?
I think he's 22 when he got in, yeah. But yeah, it's a little bit bizarre. But he might end up staying on the grid, which I would like. I would like a lot.
Oh, no. It's time's up, sure.
But it's Zhou or Doohan. It's like, Doohan's not going to do no better, in my mind.
You don't know that, though, is the problem.
And I would like to see Zhou against someone who isn't Bottas, because it could be that Bottas is just quite good.
Bottas has always been quite good.
Yeah, so Zhou maybe isn't that bad. We'll see.
But I'd still like to see him give the chance to someone else again. You're kind of there going, Zhou's got to be, like, bottom 5 most likely to lose their seat. Surely, like in terms of not talking about the politics or anything like that, but I just mean in terms of talent. Like, you think if you were going to have to pick drivers that should be dropped off the calendar simply for talent, Lance Stroll, probably Daniel Ricciardo now, Logan Sargeant, Zhou Guan Yu,
yeah,
exactly. Those are like your bottom 4. You're saying, aren't they? Really,
probably. I think you're harsh on Ricciardo, but yeah.
No, I think time's up. Come on, clock's ticking.
Fair enough. Well, we shall digress and move on. But Zhou could end up at Alpine, which is where he came through the academy. So you never know.
True. It's true.
You never know. More driver news. Well, we kind of spoke about Kimi Antonelli, so might as well talk about him again. He's going to Mercedes probably, likely because we're recording this on a Monday morning. That by Tuesday afternoon, it's probably already happened.
No, it's meant to be announced at Monza. Apparently,
fair enough.
Obviously, Italian Grand Prix.
Yeah. So he's going to go into Mercedes for 2025, which was kind of the worst kept secret since about 3 months ago now.
Yeah. Well, Lewis announced he was going to Ferrari, pretty much, isn't it?
I guess the question is whether he goes to Williams or not for the end of the season, but it doesn't sound like it will be for Zandvoort.
No.
And I feel like Sargeant
definitely won't be for Zandvoort. You would hope that we would announce that by now.
Yeah. But we will see. It could be for Monza. Could be after Sargent's next shocker that they just drop him.
Or he calls it quits if he gets an IndyCar contract or something like that. Obviously, again, there's a bit more kind of history, isn't there, between like IndyCar poaching F1 drivers that are on the way out early, isn't there? Anyway.
Yeah.
But it could well be that Sargeant knows the writing's on the wall. I feel like if you're his agent, that must be the most difficult job in Formula One right now. Like trying to talk to anybody, going, "Hey, do you fancy this new hotshot guy? He's from America.
There's no point, is there?
He'll sell some hats for you." And every other team would just be going, "No." Like, do you just if a contract comes through from an IndyCar team? Well, no, because you're a trained athlete at the end of the day, and
no, but the agent wouldn't bother trying to get him.
Oh, sorry, yeah, the agent might give up.
Not trying to get an F1 seat.
Yeah, but you kind of think if say you're given an offer to a decent midfield IndyCar team, and they're going, "We're getting rid of our driver at the end of the year," come over early, do the last couple of races, just get yourself settled in. Why would you be against that? You go, "I'm going there anyway." It's clear that he's not enjoying his time in Formula One anymore. I think there's a big rift between him and James Vowles now, apparently. They basically just don't talk to each other.
Well, after the Australia thing, I'm not surprised, to be honest.
Well, exactly. You kind of think, you know what, why not just leave on your own terms a bit? Kind of
it's
just,
like when that guy quit The Apprentice before being fired.
I have no idea what you're on about, but okay.
Well, maybe one of the viewers remembers that.
You're kind of there going, just, maybe go out on your own terms. If you feel that way inclined, and then obviously, I mean, we say obviously about Kimi Antonelli coming in. We could see that because, of course, there's the other potential talk as well, isn't there? And we could see a little bit of shuffle because obviously, I know I said earlier on in the year that Perez could be out by Monaco. Hasn't quite happened.
P11 in the championship.
But that's because exactly. That's because Ricciardo is. To be fair, he's not much higher than P11 in the championship.
True. I think I put him second or third. So
that's not going to be as far out as you are. There's still the rumblings. Obviously, if Red Bull made a huge deal about how he wasn't going to be out in the summer break, when apparently they'd already told the Verstappens he was going to be out of the summer break. It could be that they've told him, look, you got 4 Grand Prix. You got Zandvoort, which you could have won last year. Probably wouldn't have, but did lead for a bit. You've got Monza. It's straight lines. You got Singapore. You've won there before. And you got Baku. You've won there before. You got 4 races. We're not saying you have to beat Max. You got 4 races to prove you can stay close enough to him that's acceptable. And you're into the end of the year. If not, we've got a month break. You're out the door.
Yeah.
But of course, then we got Mexico on the other side of that.
That would be a bit brutal to drop him before Mexico.
Come back for Mexico, 1 race a weekend only.
Maybe. But yeah, that's proper fan pandering, really, isn't it? But that's what F1's all about these days.
Apparently so.
Yeah, we'll see. But we've talked about Perez so much. The other one is Liam Lawson. Where does he go? Because Helmut Marko keeps on waffling. That depends on
how everything slots in with Perez.
Yeah, Helmut Marko keeps on waffling about September being key. There'll be news in September because it's contractually obliged to, by the sounds of it, based on last year. It still seems like it's either Ricciardo going or Perez going, and Lawson filling the gap, really, isn't it?
It wouldn't surprise me if we saw both go. Has Ricciardo done anything to prove himself? Well,
he's not been awful, but he's not been good either. It's like,
but he hasn't done better than Yuki.
Yeah, he's been very middling a lot of the time.
It's again the kind of this. I know we spoke about it again so many times, but this kind of vacuum that's formed since Dietrich Mateschitz passed away. Apparently, obviously, there is so much kind of. We're spending all this money on a junior Formula One team that's got a 35-year-old Australian man in it. Why we've got so many juniors. We got the guy that's leading Formula 2 right
championship, now. Yeah.
We got a guy that probably does deserve a Formula 1 seat who's just sat around not doing a lot. What is this junior team about again? Remind us.
Like, just chuck Lawson and Hadjar and put Tsunoda into Red
Bull. And a guy in his 4th season with him.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not what this team's been about for the last 15 years, 20 years now almost. Yeah, it's a strange one.
Very, very odd. And obviously the last little, well, I say it's not quite driver news, is it? But apparently, Newey to Aston Martin is basically a done deal. £100 million over 3 years.
More than Alonso.
Yeah, but that's probably not. I thought Alonso was on like 40 million, but you might be right now.
It's certainly up there, second or first highest paid person.
Yeah, wild. And they want to try and target Verstappen for when Alonso retires.
That'd be insane.
Imagine if Aston Martin, Red Bull, just slowly became Aston Martin.
Well, Aston Martin just need to learn how to make a proper car, and they'll be fine.
Yep, it's a fair assessment. It's a very fair assessment.
Because their ambition is great, but they haven't really.
They absolutely doing something dodgy with the money. Absolutely doing something dodgy with the money.
Wouldn't surprise me at all.
I refuse to believe otherwise. Yeah, I think everything. It's kind of going to be one of those things, isn't it? Where until we kind of move into Zandvoort, out of Zandvoort, isn't it? It kind of feels like everything still a week out is slowly start building back up, but then come Friday or Thursday with the interviews and everything, stuff will start popping off. But we'll wait and see. Jamie, do you want your quiz?
I mean, I do. I'm slightly worried by the sounds of your prep, but we'll give it a go.
No, it's fine. It's absolutely fine. So, name me a Dutch Formula 1 driver.
Robert Doornbos.
What does he do now? Remind me.
I actually don't know.
Come on, you know this.
I don't think I do. You told me a couple weeks ago. He does something dodgy, doesn't he?
No, not dodgy. He sells marital aids.
Oh, well, there you go. Was that the one you were expecting?
No, it wasn't, actually.
Max Verstappen.
That's still not the right one.
What? Nick de Vries.
Nope.
How many more are there? Jos Verstappen.
Nope.
What?
I should have done this quiz on Dutch Formula 1 drivers. You
Dutch.
Clearly can't get many of them.
Who
One
else
more.
is Dutch?
I'll tell you. I'll give you like 3 words.
Oh, Guido van der Gaard.
Well done. There we go.
There we go.
So this is a bit of a convoluted segue, but you have to live with this. Obviously, Guido van der Gaard raced in Formula 1 in 2013, didn't he, Jamie?
He did.
And then there was a bit of controversy in 2014, wasn't there?
Was he one of the 3 drivers signed for Sauber?
He somehow, when Sauber had a lawyer running the team, they managed to balls themselves up with contracts and offered 3 drivers a full-time seat. So he arrived in Australia thinking, yes, I can't wait to race these new hybrid cars. and then never drove them, at least in official running like that. So obviously it was him, Ericsson...
And Sutil.
Sorry, not Ericsson. Was it Gutierrez?
It was Gutierrez and Sutil, yeah.
Sutil, yeah. Because obviously Ericsson was at Caterham that year, wasn't it?
Yes.
Jamie, you've got a minute and a half. You have got to tell me every driver in 2014 that scored a point. Your time starts now.
Hamilton, Rosberg, Ricciardo, Vettel, Bottas, Massa.
Yes.
Alonso, Raikkonen.
Yes.
Hulkenberg, Perez.
Yes.
More teams. Verne, Kvyat.
Yes.
Williams have done. Sadie, yeah. McLaren, Magnussen, Button.
Yes.
How many more are there? More teams?
You got 55 seconds and only 3 answers to go.
3 left. Bianchi.
Yes.
Sauber didn't score. Caterham didn't score. Who else is the back markers? Force India. I said. Oh, I really should get this.
I should never have given you a minute and a half. This was too easy. 35 seconds.
What's the one team I'm forgetting? They're on the good now,
This
probably.
is great.
Not Haas. Renault. Lotus. Isn't it Maldonado and Grosjean?
Correct! And with 23 seconds on the clock. Fair play to you. Well done, sir.
There you go.
I thought I'd try and give you a bit of a convoluted one this time. I just closed all my tabs.
Oh no, do you need them?
No, probably not too badly. I've got Discord still. That's all I need.
Good.
That's all I need.
Put me down, that's alright.
Yeah, exactly. Just hang up because you got all the questions right. I mean, that was a fairly easy quiz.
That was a fairly easy quiz.
But, That's good. That's good. Predictions. We've rattled through everything we needed to do quite quickly.
Yeah.
We've done a very good job.
Predictions.
It feels like it's a free show.
On the doors.
Good man.
52 to you, 48 to me. Let's make a comeback here.
Oh, I'm doing well. I mean, we're what? Are we one each so far in this? No, we've done this.
Yeah.
No, one each. We didn't do it in 2021, did we?
No, we did, because I put Verstappen to it every race. You put Hamilton to every race.
Oh,
so it must be.
Did we do it?
I think I won 2 and you won 1.
No, I don't believe you won 2.
I definitely won 2022 and you definitely won 2023.
Yeah, I know I definitely won. I don't think we did one in 2021. I don't think. Because the podcast was still all over the show.
Yeah, don't go back and watch them. Otherwise you might stop watching now. I will say... What's Zandvoort like? It's a bit like Hungary. The Red Bull's just so bad, but it's still Verstappen's stomping ground, isn't it?
I mean, it'll be off the calendar if he doesn't win. Because
there'll
it will be
riots
down.
if he doesn't win. There'll be no alternative but to remove it, because there won't be any racetrack there anymore. I will go Max Verstappen. Nope, I will go Lando Norris on pole position.
Interesting.
I will go Max Verstappen to win, because he'll take it at turn 1, because Norris can't hold a lead.
Yep. That's a fair assessment.
Norris P2. And Piastri P3.
Interesting.
And I'll write this down.
Yeah, please do. See, it's interesting the different circuits we've thought are similar to Zandvoort. Because obviously you said Hungary, which I think is a very good one, and I was thinking about this morning before we recorded. I thought Monaco, both very bumpy.
It's true, but the Zandvoort is a lot more high speed, obviously. But
not particularly though.
It's medium speed corners, isn't it? There's not many
but Monaco's got quite a few medium speed corners nowadays.
I guess.
Not quite the same. I think you're probably more accurate though with Hungary. I'm going to say then Max Verstappen pole. Lando Norris win.
Wow. You hate Norris most weeks.
I do, yeah. But I'm just thinking Zandvoort. I'm going to say...
Powered by the Orange fans.
No, not quite.
Well, Charles Leclerc won in
Max
Monaco.
P2. Yeah, but that's what I was going to originally put Leclerc pole, but I thought, no, don't be stupid, Matt. Ferrari be nowhere second half of the year. Although they did kick on strong last year. Although that was more at the high-speed circuits.
Pole in Belgium.
You know what? Yeah, I'm going to say Lando, Max, Charles. Top 3.
There you go. No Mercedes on either of our podiums, and they won 3 out of 4 races.
Wild, isn't it? Absolutely wild.
There you go.
There we go.
It wouldn't surprise me to see Hamilton on the podium. He's been very good recently, but
yeah, could happen, but I don't think so. I just don't think this is going to be a track that suits Merc. You know, you look at a Monaco or really a Hungary. They were neither particularly good at either of those, were they?
Well, Hamilton still got 3rd in Hungary.
Yeah, but Hamilton's goated at Hungary.
Only because he blew up Verstappen, but yeah.
Eh? Oh, this year? Well, not really, still. Max couldn't keep his cool. It was incredible. Oh, there we go. We got anything else to add, Jamie? I think we've rattled through everything pretty well, haven't we?
I think we've rattled through everything. There we go.
Wonderful. Well, thank you all, as always, so much for listening. We are agonisingly close now to 700 subscribers. Still the goal of 1k remains. I'm going to try and be good and post a bit more stuff on the socials. Jamie, I forgot to mention this, we did a quiz, a poll with the viewers.
Okay.
Over the last few weeks. You didn't know about this because I don't think you ever look at the channel, do you?
Well, I go on YouTube occasionally.
So, we ran our annual Driver of the Season So Far quiz.
Oh, I did see this.
So, I'm going to ask you, and I want to see if you agree with the viewers.
I would like to hope it's Verstappen, but we'll see.
So, we had 5 groups.
Okay.
And I want to see if you agree with all of the fan predictions.
This is called Knowing Will, so my decision will be final.
It's basically to see, whether the fans know Wheel, or the viewers, or anyone that just clicked on some pictures of Formula 1 drivers. So, Group 1 had Verstappen. Bearing in mind, these are all randomly generated.
I saw this group, and I was like, that's ridiculous.
Verstappen, Magnussen, Zhou, and Stroll.
Was it Max Verstappen?
Max Verstappen did win that group. Magnussen got 10% of the vote, though, staggeringly.
Wow. That's
Which
almost the main pellet toss he has this season.
Group 2. Perez, Hamilton, Hulkenberg, Tsunoda.
The fans will have voted Hamilton. But I would put Hulkenberg throughout that, as we discussed last week.
Hamilton did get 68% of the vote there. Hulkenberg got 22%.
That's insane.
And to be fair, that's one of the closer ones, I think. Group 3. Leclerc, Russell, Bottas or Gasly.
Oh, that's actually quite close. I feel like people would have voted Russell, again, for recency bias. But I would say Leclerc.
Correct. Russell got 76% of the vote. Charles Leclerc got 19%.
This British bias is crazy. You complain about us.
Group 4. Yeah, I was going to say, people complain about our British bias, but clearly the fans feel the same way. Group 4. Lando Norris, Carlos Sainz, Logan Sargeant or Daniel Ricciardo.
That should be Lando Norris, but people dunk on him at the minute. I'd really hope it's Norris.
Norris did get 72% of the vote there, ahead of Sainz. Weirdly, Sargeant got 3 times as many votes as Ricciardo, which I quite liked.
That's
quite funny. Group 5 even, the last group then. Oscar Piastri, Fernando Alonso, Esteban Ocon and Alexander Albon.
That really should be Piastri. That's obviously...
it was Piastri. The most dominant pole of them all. Yeah. 92% of the vote.
The fact that Verstappen wasn't the most dominant when the second best driver in his group was Lance Stroll.
Well, Magnussen was voted the second best driver in that group. Do you want some other fun facts from this that I've learned?
Yeah.
Luckily, the fans, or the viewers, sorry, we should say, do know wheel, because Esteban Ocon received the least votes of anybody. He got 18 votes.
18 people only.
18 people. And I think the second lowest, if I'm not mistaken, Ricciardo, for example, got, I believe, 120.
I'm very glad that nobody clicked on Ocon. Well done, everyone.
Yeah. Bottas and Gasly got like 200 votes. No, sorry.
What, so you did like do you do a semi-final or just a final?
I've done a final, and Verstappen did win, but it was quite close in the end.
Good. Well done,
yeah,
fans.
I think it's a little bit skewed, obviously, because some had more votes than others.
Yeah.
But yeah, Zhou Guanyu, for example, got like 40 odd votes. I think he was second lowest overall.
A lot more than Ocon, so we move.
Exactly. But more people did vote on that one than Ocon's, to be fair. But yeah, Ocon got 1% of votes on the final group stage, which I think is both hilarious and impressive all at the same time. So well done to the viewers. You did pretty well there. We're quite impressed with that one. So congratulations. You do, in fact, as a group, no wheel, which we're quite happy with. Interestingly, only 700 subs or just under 700 subs on the channel. And yeah, 2,000 people voted on that final group stage.
Nice.
Which was the least of all of them. So get yourself subbed, please. It would be greatly appreciated. But yeah, I think that's us done with everything we wanted to talk about, Jamie.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
All good.
Wonderful. Thank you all, as always, so much for listening. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, drop a sub, drop a follow, all that good stuff. The ranking every driver's video has actually done very well. I've just realised. In fact, it's in 5 days has already become the most viewed video we've ever done.
Oh,
on this channel exclusively. So thank you very much.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're gonna smash that with this Dutch Grand Prix preview somehow. I'll clickbait it badly.